So like many of you, or some of you, I stayed up late watching the Game Awards last night, and now what I did, slept on it, woke up this morning, got my bagel, got my coffee, and I just want to talk about some of the coolest things from it, because yes, it's a bunch of advertisements, and it's awards that people just kind of argue over. I am happy to see It Takes Two win, though. Who told you to play that? Remember me? But the real meat and potatoes, and the reason I always show up, is just for the big game announcements and reveals. And we got a lot of cool stuff. We got some updates on some stuff. We got some release dates, but we also got some surprises. So what I'm just gonna do here is talk about the stuff that I thought was the coolest. First thing that was a big surprise for me, even though they've made a million Warhammer games and they're never gonna stop, the fact that they're making a Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, I'm super into that. And I've never, so this is so stupid, but I've never done anything Warhammer at all, ever. But I played Space Marine, and I thought the game was fucking awesome. So I'm really excited for another one. You might think I'm crazy, or maybe you have some recommendations for Warhammer 40k stuff for me. Let me know. I'm just gonna also just like blow up right at the start. And Wonder Woman, Monolith is making a Wonder Woman game. Are you kidding me? That is something I didn't see coming at all. And I am so happy, specifically because Monolith is the people who made Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, if you don't remember. So what immediately excites me with that is the fact that Monolith is really good at that power fantasy type of thing. Why I love the original Shadow of Mordor, I think it was my game of the year, like straight up my top pick the year it came out, is because it makes you feel like such a like powerful, fearsome badass in this kind of open sandbox environment, and you just kind of get to torment these enemies. And I really see them doing that very well with Wonder Woman. And the way I look at it in terms of like, they always say like it's hard to make games about like superpower beings when you're basically a god. So maybe that's why we still haven't gotten a Superman game in a long time. But the next best thing is Wonder Woman, and I will absolutely take that. So this is actually slated on record as an open world single player adventure game where you are Diana becoming Wonder Woman and uniting Themyscira and the modern human world. And it's going to have the Nemesis system. Are you kidding me? So the Nemesis system, if you didn't play those games, is essentially like just a really advanced enemy system where it kind of always generates new rivalries. Enemies come back. This time they're pissed off because you cut their hand off and now they got a claw for a hand and they remember you and they're stronger this time. Like, so it kind of always gives a really good loop of like this never-ending fun enemy gameplay. And I'm so happy they're utilizing that tech again. And I can't wait to see how it's hopefully evolved. Because I think Monolith of anybody can really just handle like you doing crazy hits and insane jumps and maybe flying. The possibilities are, this is probably going to be a while before we see this, so I'm not trying to get overhyped, but as someone who just likes that studio, cool, man. Also, on the other Warner Brothers side, we got another look at Suicide Squad. This is actually on my most anticipated list, but this trailer didn't do much for me. I know it showed a little bit of gameplay, but I just want to see more. I feel like I need to see it actually in full motion. Like, why did they choose Suicide Squad? Like, what are they really doing here? So far, it seems cool and fun and crazy, but I just want more. One weird surprise was Arc Raiders. This looks like a game that is something I'm not technically into. So this is a co-op, free-to-play, third-person shooter. That's not usually a thing I vibe with, but the third-person shooter gameplay here and the style and the robots did look like a lot of fun. I was watching this trailer like, oh shit, I might play this. This looks cool. It kind of reminds me of that first-person co-op shooter that was kind of like a Stranger Things teen vibe. It was first-person in a world where everyone was gone except for some weird robots. This looks like a better version of that and in third-person, so I'm gonna go for it. Also, the freaking bait almost of the Silent Hill creator, Keiichiro Toyama's Slitterhead is what it's gonna be called. I'm just happy he's out there making another game. You see these crazy, grotesque creature designs. You also have the Silent Hill composer, and he straight up knows what he's doing here because some of those audio cues and tones was exactly Silent Hill, whatever. It's not Silent Hill though, and the game seems kind of like not maybe my thing, but I just am happy that he's out there doing his thing. You know what I mean? Tachia also still looks great. Just another quick little highlight of that game. I'm still planning on playing the shit out of that. I like a weird spin on Wind Waker and a couple of other like open world adventure games. Hellblade 2 though, man, what a way to open shit. And also just seeing how it looked. Obviously, it's like a graphical thing. The original was, but I really hope they don't lose sight of the really personal and small nature of the first one. This seems to be crazier, with a lot more people involved, but Senua still seems very much in her head, and it still has that chaos, and I'm about it. But the whole giant fight thing with the flames and the rain and the water and the mud, it just looked out of this world, especially how it would transition to her kind of like cutscene grabbing a spear and then immediately transitioning right to being able to throw it. Just you look for those like little cuts and animations and like when it's cutscene and when it's gameplay. And, you know, as someone who's, if you probably too, you've played a lot of video games, right? You could always tell it was hard. You had to really look here for that, but really impressive shit. The first game is one of my favorites ever. I've been meaning to replay it actually. It's been a minute. I should do that. But just everything here, the creepy vibe, the tone, the music, her performance, the graphics, all of that like points to, for me, yes, awesome. Also, even though it was like leaked and then like announced a couple of days ago, the Matrix Awakenings experience went live on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Weirdly enough, not on PC, which I feel like this would be really good for PC. So essentially what this is, I rushed and downloaded it and played it right after the Game Awards. I was up all night. I'm like mega tired. All it really is a Unreal Engine 5 tech demo set in like a little Matrix marketing thingy. And it starts off with like, you see these crazy Unreal Engine 5, like the graphics tech for the faces for Keanu, Carrie-Anne Moss, they look incredible. Then they start walking around and they start looking like rubber band people, you know, like CG. It's never going to be perfect, but it transitions into this fucking crazy balls out Matrix experience. It's super short, but it's playable, and the graphics are running in real time, and it's an agent chase, and it is straight up Matrix Reloaded. Like, it might as well be a Matrix Reloaded scene. And you guys probably remember I made a Matrix Reloaded video not that long ago. I'll link that somewhere. I love it. And this was perfect. Like, it was that Neo, it was that Trinity, it was that vibe, that music, that type of action. It was perfect. It was really fun. It was incredible to see this all happening. A hyper-detailed city, incredible lighting, so much chaos and particle effects and explosions going on. Then it ends and essentially shows off all of the new tech. You know, the lighting systems, the geometry systems, the complexities of all of them, and it lets you switch them on and off. Then it just like has a mic drop moment and sets you loose in the world. You could walk around, you could hop in a car, you're like just like a made up Matrix character, and it is simple. Obviously, it's not a real video game, but just to be able to look around, you can also just access, like you could turn into a camera and just God mode fly around. There's a photo mode, you could tweak some things. Really, really exciting graphical stuff. As someone who just loves the Matrix and also just likes getting excited about the future of graphics, and having this thing just kind of running on my PS5 and like on my OLED TV, it looked, granted, I know games aren't going to look like that probably anytime soon. But again, the fact that it's running on my machine is a nice start, you know? Then Alan Wake 2, like, and the fact that they dropped it like at the start of the event, I was like, holy shit, what the hell? I did not expect that at all. It's cool. It's Remedy. It's 2023. Sam Lake, the dude, the man himself, big fan of his work, and his whole team came out and said that it is a survival horror game. He said it's Remedy's first survival horror game. So they're saying it's not going to be quite like the first Alan Wake. Survival horror makes more sense. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Perfect. Thank you. Also, did anybody else see that trailer and first think it was Jared Leto? Or was that just me? Still, I think that's a win. I'm very happy. Yes, more spooky games, more survival horror games, more Alan Wake. It's just like not trying to be like a hype machine here, but I don't know. That's pretty good stuff. Then last but not least, Star Wars Eclipse. This trailer scratched all the Star Wars itches for me. I don't talk about Star Wars too much here online anymore because people could be awful about it, but this excites me. Everything shown here, this is a High Republic game, which the first book was like, all right, cool. But like, I think video games are the perfect medium to introduce people into essentially more of like a new Star Wars universe or timeline or different area. Think of something like KOTOR. Knights of the Old Republic for a lot of people was their first introduction into weird Star Wars stuff. You know, a lot of people who fell in love with KOTOR didn't read Splinter of the Mind's Eye or like any weird shit like Thrawn. So I think this is a nice new gateway point for a lot of people to get into the weirder side of Star Wars, especially if they pull it off. It's Quantic Dream, and I think that is that's an awesome choice. It's pretty cool. I love their games. They're always awkward, but they're gorgeous and they're still fun. People dunk on Quantic Dream games a lot. I get it, but I still have fun with them. It is also worth pointing out that they have been going through, as a studio, some workplace harassment lawsuits. Can't ignore that shit. Hopefully they get their shit together. So possibly good shit, good Star Wars stuff. That's it, man. These are the things that I thought were the coolest from the Game Awards, but I want to hear your list. So, like, you make yourself a little, like, Game Ranks top 5 or top 10. I would love to hear your 5 favorite things you saw. Maybe it's an update or a trailer on a game that we already know about, like Horizon, Forbidden West, or anything. Just let's talk. Also, let me know if you jumped into the Matrix Awakenings. Did you freak out like I did? Let's talk about the Game Awards, all that stuff, down in the comments. I want to hear from you. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thanks for having my back. Clicking the like button if you enjoyed this and you like yapping with me. That's all you got to do. I would appreciate it. But thank you guys. I'm Jake Baldino. Subscribe because video games. Pizza's on me.